Imagine you are standing in your kitchen. You're in the middle of baking a cake. You turn around to grab the butter, and the fridge is completely empty.
Oh, panic sets in immediately.
Right. Total panic. But instead of abandoning the recipe, finding your keys and driving all the way to the store, you just tap a piece of glass in your pocket.
Yep.
And then, exactly 10 minutes later, a stranger is standing at your front door handing you a premium block of butter.
It feels like magic.
It really does. But how is that physically possible? Well, today in this deep dive, we're looking at the invisible, hyper-optimized machinery that makes this ultra-fast commerce work.
And more importantly, we're looking at a strategy document from Enatega on how local entrepreneurs are building these massive delivery empires almost overnight.
Exactly. Using something called clone apps. So let's unpack this for you. Building a delivery app from scratch is basically it's like farming your own wheat, milling the flour, and churning your own butter just to bake that cake.
Yeah, a massive headache.
Totally. But using a clone app, which we're dissecting today, is like buying a high-end pre-measured meal kit.
Yeah.
You get all the premium ingredients ready to go. You just have to turn on the oven.
Which is the exact advantage you need when time is quite literally the only metric that matters in this space.
Right.
But to truly grasp why this meal kit approach to software, the clone app strategy, is completely upending the market, we have to look at the original recipe.
The giant everyone is trying to copy.
Exactly. The giant that every single one of these clone apps is desperately trying to emulate, we have to talk about Flink.
Flink, yeah. They are essentially the gold standard for this entire industry.
They really are.
For anyone tuning in who might be unfamiliar, Flink is this massive on-demand grocery platform based in Germany. They're operating in over 100 cities right now.
Heavily concentrated across Germany, France, and the Netherlands.
Right. And their core value proposition sounds almost like a parlor trick. They guarantee that your groceries will arrive at your doorstep in just 10 to 20 minutes.
10 to 20 minutes. It's wild.
And the kicker, they do this while maintaining standards for market prices.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is that speed to price ratio is what's driving this entire economic shift.
How big of a shift are we talking?
Massive. When you look at the wider industry projections, there is data from Statista showing the global grocery delivery market is on track to hit a staggering $938.98 billion by 2025.
Wait, almost $1 trillion?
We are brushing up against $1 trillion industry, yes.
$1 trillion just so we collectively don't have to put on shoes and walk down the street to the store.
Pretty much.
I mean, the scale of that demand is just mind-blowing to me. And it's not a monopoly either.
No, not at all.
Flink is fighting off really fierce competitors. You've got companies like Buy Me, Crisp, and Picnic all clawing for a piece of this massive pie.
Right, but that 10-minute guarantee from Flink has become the psychological benchmark for the consumer.
Oh, totally. Once you experience groceries arriving in 10 minutes, a next-day delivery suddenly feels like a relic from the Stone Age.
It literally rewires your expectations. But the fascinating part isn't the delivery itself. It's the infrastructure required to make a 10-minute window physically possible.
Right, because you can't just do that the normal way.
Exactly. You cannot achieve that by having some gig worker park at a massive suburban supermarket, grab a cart, wander through the produce section, wait in line.
Pay at the register and then drive to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, I need to pause you there.
Sure.
Because the logistics of 10 to 20 minutes, frankly, sound impossible unless these riders are, breaking several traffic laws.
Which they try not to do.
Right. So how are they circumventing the basic reality of what a grocery store is?
By entirely removing the public from the grocery store.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they utilize a model known as dark stores.
Dark stores. Okay, break that down for me.
So a dark store is a micro-fulfillment center located right in the middle of a dense urban neighborhood. It's essentially a grocery store that is completely closed to the public.
So no automatic sliding doors for shoppers?
Nope. There are no shoppers in the aisles blocking the way. There are no end-cap window displays designed to catch your eye. There's no pleasant ambient music playing overhead.
Just purely functional.
Exactly. It is a purely utilitarian, hyper-optimized warehouse designed for one thing, and that is speed.
Wow.
The layout is engineered so that when your order pings on a screen, a picker can sprint through the aisles, bag your butter and eggs, and hand them to an e-bike rider waiting at the back door in a matter of seconds.
In seconds?
Seconds. They aren't just delivering food. They've taken the immediate physical store experience and brought it online. They are basically manufacturing time.
Okay. I get the warehouse efficiency, but I have to push back a little on the reality of that space.
Go for it.
If these dark stores are hyperlocal, meaning they're these micro-fulfillment centers wedged into expensive downtown real estate, they can't possibly hold a massive inventory.
They can't.
So don't they have to sacrifice the massive supermarket variety just to guarantee that speed? Like, if I want a highly specific, obscure brand of imported mustard, a micro center isn't going to have it.
You are hitting on the exact trade-off of the model. And you're completely right. This model is not designed to replace the massive weekend grocery haul.
Where you wander 100,000 square feet of aisles looking at 50 different types of mustard.
Right. The dark store inventory is rigorously, almost ruthlessly focused on high rotation, household staples, and fresh essentials.
So just the stuff people buy constantly.
Exactly.
Okay.
They are making a calculated bet on consumer psychology. When you use their app, you are in a state of immediate need.
Like the butter for the cake.
Exactly. You don't need the illusion of unlimited choice. You need milk, you need toilet paper, or you need that one missing ingredient for dinner, and you need it right now.
And for the consumer, the speed entirely makes up for that curated selection. Okay, so if we look at this landscape, a $938 billion market potential and a proven hyper-efficient dark store model, it brings up a glaring question.
How to get in on it.
Exactly. How does a normal local business get a slice of that pie? If I own a local grocery chain or, I don't know, a specialty organic shop, I can't afford to hire a team of Silicon Valley engineers and spend 3 years writing custom code to build my own version of Flink.
Which is exactly where the barrier to entry vanishes. And this is all thanks to the Cloneapp solution.
The digital meal kit.
Right. A Flink clone is essentially a fully built, 100% customizable, ready-made replica of Flink's core technological features.
So it's basically software in a box.
Exactly. It's a pre-packaged software solution that local businesses can purchase and just deploy as their own.
The metrics on this are what really caught my eye in the source document.
The time and cost savings.
Yeah. If you decide to go the traditional route and build a delivery app from scratch, you're looking at a grueling timeline of 4 to 6 months of development.
At least.
At least. And the cost. You're starting at around $50,000 and easily climbing well over $100,000 just to get a functional version 1.
It's a massive investment.
But if you pivot to a Flink clone, your development timeline drops to just 1 to 3 weeks.
Which is insanely fast.
And the base cost drops to a low to medium range of $10,000 to $30,000. I mean, that is a completely different universe of risk.
It absolutely is. And the strategic advantage of cloning isn't just about saving money up front, it's about eliminating operational friction.
What do you mean by operational friction?
Well, when you build software from scratch, you aren't just paying for the code to be written, you are paying for all the inevitable mistakes.
Oh, like the bugs.
Yes. You have to slog through endless quality assurance cycles, beta testing, bug fixing, and app store rejections.
That sounds like a nightmare for a grocery store owner.
It is. But by relying on a clone, you inherit built-in scalability and a battle-tested user experience. Everything is pre-wired.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel?
Exactly. We're talking about payment gateways, GPS mapping integrations, automatic SMS notification systems. You bypass the entire headache of invention and go straight to the market.
It's the franchise model, but translated for the digital age.
That's a great way to put it.
Think about it. When an entrepreneur decides to open a fast food franchise, they don't sit down and invent the concept of a hamburger.
Right.
They don't hire an architect to design the mechanics of drive-through window from scratch.
Yes.
They buy into an established, hyper-efficient system so they can turn the lights on and start selling immediately.
That is a perfect parallel. And what's interesting is the diversity of the businesses buying into these digital franchises.
It's not just tech bros.
Not at all. It is not just tech startups trying to be the next venture capital unicorn. Local independent grocery stores are using these clones to finally reach online customers and compete with the big chains.
That makes a lot of sense.
Specialty food stores, say, places exclusively selling organic produce or fresh-baked goods, are jumping on board. Even restaurants and cloud kitchens are utilizing these clones to deliver meal kits.
Oh, wow.
And it extends to B2B as well. You have businesses supplying bulk coffee, printer paper, or office snacks to corporate buildings using this exact same infrastructure.
Okay, let's look under the hood of this digital franchise.
Yeah.
If I'm that local entrepreneur buying this $10,000 clone, what exactly am I getting?
A lot of very smooth technology.
Like, what specific features make the user experience seamless enough to guarantee an ultra-fast delivery time without the app just, crashing from the sheer volume of orders.
Well, the entire architecture is built around removing friction for the buyer at every single touch point.
Okay?
The user journey starts with an incredibly streamlined download and registration process. From there, the browsing experience relies heavily on advanced filters.
So they can find things quickly.
Exactly. A user can instantly sort inventory by price, user reviews, or real-time availability. And when it comes time to check out, the friction has to be zero.
Right. You don't want them abandoning the cart.
Exactly. So the app supports a massive array of payment options natively. We're talking digital wallets like Apple Pay, standard credit cards, and even cash on delivery for certain markets.
I really want to talk about the tech stack required to make all that run smoothly, because it is heavy duty.
It's complex, yeah.
A lot of people think an app is just one piece of software, but it's really a complex ecosystem.
Definitely.
The front end, which is the visual interface the user actually taps on, is typically built using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But the back end requires incredibly robust systems like Node.js, Ruby on Rails, or Django.
And that distinction is vital.
Let's break that down for a second, because just listing programming languages doesn't really explain how this works.
No, it just sounds like alphabet soup.
Right, so think of the front end, the HTML and CSS, as the paint, the lighting, and the interior design of the grocery store.
Okay, I like that.
It's what makes the app look pretty and feel intuitive. The JavaScript is like the automatic sliding doors. It makes the visual elements interactive.
Right.
But the back end, the Node.js and Ruby on Rails, that is the massive hidden warehouse logistics behind the swinging doors. It's the plumbing.
Exactly.
It's the complex routing algorithm, making sure that when you tap buy on a carton of eggs, that signal travels through the internet, hits the server, deducts one egg carton from the digital inventory, and routes the order to the exact right picker in a specific dark store.
All in a fraction of a millisecond.
All in a fraction of a millisecond.
That is exactly how you have to visualize it. And instead of building their own satellite tracking systems from scratch to monitor the delivery riders, these clones use APIs.
Ah, APIs.
Yeah. An API basically lets your app rent another company's brain. So they plug into a GPS mapping API, which means they're essentially renting Google Maps infrastructure to track your rider in real time.
Which brings up a feature from the source document I found incredibly smart. The real-time tracking paired with the in-app chat.
Yes. The in-app chat is arguably one of the most critical logistical tools in the entire system.
Really? Just a basic chat feature.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it attacks the most vulnerable point of the delivery process, the final 50 feet.
The confusing apartment complex problem.
Precisely. If a rider arrives at a massive, sprawling apartment complex and the gate code has changed, or the customer wants a contactless drop-off hidden behind a specific potted plant.
They can just message the rider directly in the app.
Exactly. If you don't have that feature, the rider is forced to wander around for 5 minutes calling a phone number that goes to voicemail.
And when you only have 10 minutes to begin with.
Right. In a business where your entire brand promise hinges on a 10-minute guarantee, a 5-minute delay looking for an apartment door completely ruins the product.
It essentially saves the core promise of the business.
It does.
Another feature that stood out was the ratings and reviews system. From a consumer perspective, dropping a 5-star review on a bag of coffee just feels like standard app behavior.
Sure, we all do it.
But internally, that review system serves a completely different master.
It is a vital real-time feedback loop. These companies aren't just looking at reviews for quality control. They are using them to pivot their dark store inventory strategy on the fly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. If they notice a massive spike in searches and positive reviews for a specific brand of oat milk in a particular neighborhood, they will adjust the inventory of that specific local dark store the very next morning.
That's incredibly responsive.
It allows the physical warehouse to adapt to the digital demand in real time.
I do have a practical question here, though. Let's go back to that specialized local organic bakery we talked about earlier.
Okay.
If I am using this platform to deliver my artisanal sourdough and expensive pastries, doesn't using an off-the-shelf clone app make my brand look totally generic to the end user?
I see where you're going with this.
Like, I want to look bespoke and high-end, not like a carbon copy of a massive German corporation.
That is a very common concern, but it stems from a misunderstanding of how white label software actually functions.
Okay, enlighten me.
The beauty of a white label clone is that it is 100% customizable in terms of UI, UX, user interface and user experience and branding.
So they don't see the clone brand.
Never. The customer downloading your app never sees the word Flink, They never see the default boilerplate code. They see your bakery's custom logo, your specific color palettes, and your chosen typography.
Ah,
You are essentially putting a highly customized luxury paint job on an industrial-grade engine.
that's a great analogy.
Furthermore, these clones support multiple languages natively, like English, Arabic, and Spanish. So if your bakery is in a highly diverse neighborhood, you can tailor the app's language perfectly to the demographics of your local customers.
So it feels entirely local and bespoke, but it's powered by enterprise-level tech.
Exactly.
All right, so the technology is proven, it's astonishingly fast to deploy, and you can skin it to look exactly like your own brand.
Yes.
But what does it actually take to launch this thing into the real world? And perhaps the most important question for anyone listening, how do these platforms actually generate revenue once they are live and paying delivery riders?
Well, this is where the conversation has to shift from software engineering to raw business operations.
Okay.
Because while the technology has been incredibly streamlined, running a rapid delivery business is still an immensely complex financial operation.
So what does this all mean for the bottom line? I want to dig into the true costs here because there's a fascinating, almost deceptive nuance in the numbers we discussed earlier.
There really is.
Initially, we talked about this incredibly low entry cost of $10,000 to $30,000, the base clone software. Sounds like a steal.
It does.
But when you look at the full estimated cost breakdown required to actually launch a living, breathing company, the picture changes entirely.
Oh, absolutely.
Once you factor in market research, which runs $2,000 to $5,000, customizing that front end and back end we talked about adds another $18,000 to $55,000.
Yep. Development time still costs money.
Plus, you need a robust admin panel, comprehensive testing, and server deployment. Then you add the marketing budget, because, an app is useless if no one knows it exists, which is $5,000 to $20,000 right out of the gate.
Marketing is essential.
And ongoing tech maintenance at $1,000 to $5,000 every single month. When you tally it all up, the total estimated cost to launch a viable operation is between $39,000 and well over $100,000.
It is a harsh reality check for a lot of overeager entrepreneurs.
I bet.
The code itself might be relatively affordable, but a business is so much more than just lines of code.
It really exposes the quote-unquote cheap software option as a bit of a Trojan horse.
That's a good way to look at it.
You buy the $15,000 code thinking you're ready to disrupt the market, and suddenly you're spending $80,000 on marketing campaigns, AWS servers, and rider insurance just to keep the lights on. It requires serious capital.
Which is why you have to be incredibly aggressive about how you make that money back.
Right.
You are buying a highly sophisticated tool, not a magic wand. If we look at Flink's model, they actually rely on 5 primary revenue streams simultaneously.
5.
5. And it shows just how multi-layered the monetization has to be to survive.
Okay, lay them out for me.
First, and most obviously, there are direct grocery sales. They make a profit off standard retail markups or by negotiating wholesale margins with distributors.
Sure, the classic retail model.
Right. Second, they utilize peak hour charges.
Ah, basically surge pricing. Like trying to get an Uber at 2 a.m. in the pouring rain, but applied to a bag of potato chips and a frozen pizza.
Exactly. When demand spikes in a specific neighborhood, say during the Super Bowl, the delivery fees dynamically increase.
Makes sense. What's the third?
Third, they take a sales commission percentage. When local suppliers, specialized bakeries, or restaurants list their products on the app, the platform takes a cut of every single sale.
Okay, so they're acting as a marketplace.
Right. Fourth, and this is highly lucrative, they charge for in-app advertising. They allow massive consumer brands to pay for premium, top-of-the-screen placement when a user opens the app.
Like digital end caps.
Exactly. And finally, standard delivery charges. Unless there is a specific targeted promotional campaign to acquire new users, there is no such thing as free delivery. The customer always pays for the logistics.
Wow. If you step back and look at those 5 streams, retail markups, dynamic surge pricing, supplier commissions, brand advertising, and delivery fees.
Yeah.
It paints a very clear, completely different picture of what this business actually is.
And that is the massive conceptual leap here. When you operate one of these platforms, you are no longer just running a grocery delivery service.
What are you running?
You are essentially managing a multi-sided digital real estate market.
Digital real estate.
Yeah. You are monetizing the customer through markups and search fees. You are monetizing the local supplier by taking commissions for giving them access to your customers. And you are monetizing giant external brands by selling them digital shelf space within your interface.
You are quite literally renting out the attention of your users.
Precisely.
That is a profound shift in perspective. I mean, if a big soda brand knows that users on this app are making impulse buys and getting their items in 10 minutes, that banner ad at the top of the screen is worth its weight in gold.
It's incredibly valuable.
We have covered an incredible amount of ground today. We started by exploring this massive $938 billion rapid grocery market.
It's just huge.
We looked at the chaotic, hyper-efficient dark store magic that made Flink a household name by guaranteeing those 10-minute deliveries. We unpacked the mechanics of the tech stack, the HTML storefront, and the Node.js warehouse logistics.
The plumbing, as you called it.
The plumbing, exactly.
Okay.
And we detail how clone apps offer an accelerated white label shortcut to market, taking development times down from 6 brutal months to just 3 short weeks.
Provided, of course, that the entrepreneur fully grasps the multi-layered revenue models required to actually survive.
Right.
And understands the true fully loaded costs of scaling the operation beyond just buying the code.
Because the software is only half the battle. So the next time you find yourself standing in the kitchen, missing an ingredient for a dinner party, and you panic order it from your phone, take a second to remember the machinery you are participating in.
It's a lot of moving parts.
You are interacting with a hyper-optimized ecosystem, a multi-sided marketplace that might have taken a local business owner just 3 weeks to spin up using a clone app.
It certainly completely changes the way you look at that 15-minute delivery window.
It really does.
Yeah.
And to leave you with one final thought to mull over, a new angle to explore long after this deep dive is over.
Let's hear it.
Think back to our opening analogy about the meal kit. If white label clone apps successfully democratize this software, meaning literally anyone with a bit of startup capital can launch a flawless, seamless 15-minute delivery app tomorrow morning, does the competitive advantage shift entirely away from who has the best tech?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Because if the digital software is completely identical across the board, it suggests that the ultimate battleground of the future economy isn't code at all. The real battle is physical.
It's about location.
Yes. It's about who owns the best, most strategically located physical real estate in dense urban centers for their local dark stores. The recipe is free, the ingredients are boxed, but who owns the kitchen? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.